Hello everybody, this is Joey from the Chart Guys. I've been a full-time trader and technical analyst for 7 years. I'm here to talk about some crypto for the first time in a few weeks. Been out of commission after getting banged by Hurricane Helene, but everything is going well here. I'm going to be continuing with the relief effort, so I'm not back in full capacity, but I am happy to get back on stream here, chat a little crypto, and see what we got going on. So let's go ahead and get right into the charts. So looking at the Bitcoin monthly chart here, as we've been saying for quite some time now, as long as monthly 12 EMA holds as support, then bulls maintain full control in a macro sense. And now we've more confidently got this monthly higher low set at 49K, and we're working right back up to resistance. So next key resistance here, if we look at the weekly, I hesitate to say key resistance. Next resistance that we'll be watching is pretty much 70K. Then we are looking at 72K, and then pretty much just all-time high, we'll call it 74K. And the reason I hesitate to say key resistance is because when we are in a balancing range, we know that levels within and patterns within do hold less weight than they would otherwise. So, and we saw that on the 65K break here, how we came right back down, weekly uptrend, first one in months, should be a big deal, right? Well, not when you're in a balance range. So we've got to keep that in mind. Bulls are obviously hopeful with the broad market euphoria out there and just general strength in the metals space, just across many places in the market. Bulls are hoping that we see some rotation back into crypto. We've got crypto miners super strong, and there's definitely ammo to think that this could be the break to new all-time highs, confirm the monthly bull flag. That being said, nobody knows if we're going to confirm the monthly bull flag and go to all-time highs. And the bottom line is that risk to reward does favor bears up here. As much as no one wants to hear that, risk to reward favors bears. It never feels good top fishing when you're right up against resistance, and odds of it breaking are decent when you do get close to that. But just going to continue to reiterate, I mean, it's the same thing I've been saying for 6 months now, of the playbook within here is long off the lows, short off the highs, and now here we are at the highs. That playbook works until it doesn't, and we'll see if it works again, or if this is the time where it doesn't and we actually get the breakout. So using context clues from around the market, I think that does increase the odds that bulls can break it to the upside. But the whole thing is you don't need to know what's going to happen. If you're a long-term bull and you're looking to hedge out a position, this is a good place to consider doing it. You don't need to just enter a short and put a stop over the high. You can wait for some sign of bears defending these highs. So for me, same thing that we were talking about last stream. I don't remember when it was. I think it must have been maybe Wednesday or Tuesday of the week of the 23rd. Somewhere in here it was that daily 12 EMA is your guide, and that would need to be lost to see any weekly consolidation. And I'm going to be using the same playbook here. So we've got a little daily higher low at, wow, that's ominous, 66,666. I don't care about that level too much. I care about the daily EMAs. Very often, when you're this far above EMAs, if you lose a little dinker daily higher low, it doesn't hold the same significance that would hold in a different context. So if you were looking to be a hedging bull or an aggressive bear, and you don't want to just simply top fish, then you can wait for some sign of bears. For me, that would be a loss of daily EMAs, and we can see after this one, we got about a $4,000 pullback after losing these daily EMAs. So that's going to be my same look on for the weekly time frame, and then we'll just go from there. Because once we do lose daily EMAs again, which will inevitably happen, then we're going to be looking for a weekly higher low. And at this point, looking at monthly retracement, bears would be hard pressed to go down and break 49K from here, just due to the retracement size getting right back up to resistance over the 786. So just going to move a step at a time. It's easy to be feeling excited. We got some alts starting to pop. We've, again, euphoria elsewhere in the market. It's easy to get excited, but we cannot forget that we are still just within a balance range. And we know bigger picture, if anything were to be troubling for Bitcoin bulls, 49K would need to be broken. And we cannot forget that historically, after a Fed pivot, there are good odds of a bear market. So there's zero signs of it out there right now, but something to keep on the back of our mind. And as we were talking about, around when that pivot was shaking out, it's not like as soon as the Fed pivots then the markets pull back. It can be plus or minus 2 months or something like that. So we're not in the clear from that situation, but bears have all the proving to do. Obviously, they have all of the proving to do. So that's some bigger picture context for Bitcoin itself, and something to keep in mind for the alts. And we'll just kind of zoom out and just talk broader about the space. Right now, the alts, the way I'm seeing them, you got two categories. You've got alts who have their monthly bounce underway, and you have alts that don't have their monthly bounce underway. We're going to be looking for monthly lower highs in pretty much all of these altcoins. So there's some like Sui, let's see, was it Sui? That went right to new all-time highs when a monthly lower high was the most likely scenario. So bulls want to see more of that, see more coins, see the less likely scenario, and that would be a point in favor that other coins can follow. But the number of coins that are doing what Sui is doing is very limited at this point. We have many alts that still are not over weekly EMAs, still have not gotten monthly bounces underway. And those alts that don't have their monthly bounces underway, very likely going to be looking for monthly lower highs on those. So I know everybody wants an alt season. I know everybody wants Bitcoin 100K, but we've just got to go one step at a time and know that if we're going to get an alt season, it's unlikely that it's just a V shape off of these 80% monthly pullbacks that we had on many alts, 70% on many of these alts. If it is going to be a monthly V shape, you're going to get what you see on Sui here. Look at this volume. Made it very clear that, okay, even though this was a deep pullback, let's get a percentage and put it on there. So we're looking at a 78.8% pullback, but decreasing bear volume. And then when that monthly higher low was set, increasing bull volume. So we'll be looking at volume for clues. We'll be looking at responses to backburners for clues. If hourly oversold just gets nabbed up again and again and again, then we'll know that we're in a bull environment. If hourly oversold is not getting nabbed up, then we know that, okay, well, maybe these are just monthly bounces after 80% pullbacks. So nobody knows the answer. I'm not going to act like I know the answer, and anybody who tells you that they do know the answer is fooling you. So what we can say with confidence is if we're going to get an alt season, Bitcoin dominance is going to have to lose 2-week 12 EMA. It's been riding it for months on end at this point. It's at the highest levels since March 2021, and it's still just the Bitcoin show. We'll get individual alts popping here and there, getting their time to shine, but as a whole, it's still the Bitcoin show. And a big part of that is that ETH BTC, given how much of the market cap Ethereum holds, ETH BTC remains weak and it's down at multi-year lows. So if we're going to see an alt season, probably going to need ETH BTC to come back to life. Going to need Bitcoin dominance to lose 2-week 12 EMA. And until that happens, then we're just going to take what we got at this point. So that's some bigger picture stuff. And to talk about some of the alts that are seeing these nice moves, who was it? Tau was the star of this. If y'all remember, I guess a month ago at this point, we were watching this weekly inverse head and shoulders, and it's now seen massive follow through right up to all-time highs. We had FTM was another weekly inverse head and shoulders that saw pretty solid follow through, not as much as Tau. And then who else had one that didn't do well? I think it was another T name, or no, it was FET, wasn't it? Yeah, FET had the inverse head and shoulders, and it's just petering out. That's the weekly trend change without follow through. That increases the odds that this could be a monthly lower high. And to just get our context proper again, if FET was going to go right to new all-time highs, it would need a nearly 400% move off of the lows. So can the crypto space do it? Absolutely. We've seen it many times. But when that happens, you have increasing bull volume with it most all of the time. So we will continue to be on the lookout for that. So a little disjointed here. Let's take a step back. We'll look at Ethereum. This is another one of our coins that does not have a monthly bounce underway yet. Bulls are trying. This is the monthly chart we're looking at here now. But if we look at the weekly, it's still just an equilibrium. Low, high, higher low, lower high, higher low. And now we're back up here testing weekly 12 EMA with the resistance of 27.29 just overhead. If bears defend that, then we'll continue to tighten here. This EQ needs to break to the upside to get a monthly bounce underway, or it needs to break to the downside to get 6-month consolidation underway. I'll turn off log, we'll go to arithmetic, and if that weekly EQ breaks bear, then that would be our 6-month lower high being set in a 6-month equilibrium. And if that happens, we could be tightening up on Ethereum until 2028, and it wouldn't be shocking with how big this range is. So we'll just go one step at a time, and for now we're looking at the weekly. So if we're going to get a weekly lower high, then the daily uptrend and daily 12 EMA would need to be lost. It's very similar to what we had going on here in the end of September. So we can see relative weakness on Ethereum, for multiple metrics compared to Bitcoin, but just in the past few days, we can say that Ethereum topped out on Tuesday, went sideways for a couple days, and we're still not through that Tuesday high. If we look at Bitcoin, we didn't top out till Wednesday, and then now we're back through that Wednesday high. So two very different looks on the daily here as ETH BTC continues to struggle. We got a weekly bounce underway, we got our daily trend change, and then just smacked right back down to the lows. So obviously Ethereum is a cornerstone in the crypto space, but it just remains weak. So trying to peg the shift between relative weakness and relative strength is very difficult. It's one of the toughest things you can do in trading, and ultimately it's very high risk, high reward. If you do peg that shift, then you're getting in at a macro bottom, and who doesn't want to do that? But your odds of doing it are very low, and there's been folks trying to do that for months now on Ethereum. So for me personally, I'm just waiting for bulls to, at the very least, break the weekly downtrend on ETH BTC, and that will let us know that something is shifting. So weekly equilibrium on Ethereum, and bears are looking up here. Bears are looking up here, but no sign of them yet. And another thing we'll need to watch out for in terms of, all right, what's next is, let's look at Bitcoin dominance again. We'll look at the daily. So we've got a daily uptrend and a daily stair step for 5 days at this point. Next time we get daily consolidation on the dominance chart, is that alts playing some catch up, and some of these alts that are in monthly inside bars actually getting their monthly bounces underway? Or is it Bitcoin seeing a rejection from the upper end of this balance range and pulling back further than alts? So always got to be cognizant that there's two forms of relative strength and weakness that can be gleaned from the dominance chart. It's not like a binary, what would you even say? It's not a binary signal. So going to be looking out for that. Let's keep moving through the list. So alt that has gotten its monthly bounce underway is Litecoin here, and we're going to be looking for a monthly lower high compared to 112.98. Lots of room for it. And for now, the weekly uptrend going to continue to be the guide. It's looking like a potential monthly bear flag after weekly uptrend confirmed, no follow through, but bulls recovered, set a weekly higher low at 61.93, and now we're up to new highs. So next resistance here going to be 76.76, and we've got a daily uptrend as our guide for the weekly move, and probably clean 4-hour 12 EMA. Clean 4-hour 12 EMA is the guide for the daily move. So this is a very clear chart right here on LTC. LTC BTC continues to be weak, continues to reject from weekly 12 EMA, and the same, or not the same playbook, but similar playbook that we're looking at on ETH BTC, we can be using on LTC BTC. So keep an eyes on that. Nothing changes until that changes. What else we got? BNB getting close up to all-time highs. Very similar to Bitcoin. As long as monthly 12 EMA is holding, then all-time highs are within striking distance. And we've got a weekly uptrend. One thing we will have to watch out here for is the potential that we get a rising wedge. So if we get weekly higher highs on BNB USD and they don't see follow through, we'll have to be watching this rising wedge, which would have us then stay in a monthly tightening range, which wouldn't be shocking given the depth of the monthly pullback. We held the monthly EMAs, but at the end of the day, we still pulled back 44%. and that means it'd be nearly 100% to get back to all-time highs. That said 80. Shouldn't it be more than that? I guess not. So yeah, 80% off the lows, which not the tallest task, but just go one step at a time. Just go one step at a time on all these coins. Daily uptrend guide for the weekly move on BNB, and keeping eyes on this potential rising wedge if we get higher highs without follow through. And that's the type of setup where if you have the foresight to see that we could have a rising wedge starting to form, you can very often get solid risk to reward on a bull break of resistance without follow through. So ideally you have extended conditions on the break to set up just a more difficult task for bulls to see follow through, and then you can just take a small time frame stair step or even a daily stair step. It depends on your aggression level. Smaller the time frame, the more aggressive, and you're more likely to need multiple attempts to make it stick. And the larger time frame, the clearer the signal is going to be, but your risk to reward is not as good because your stop might be 5% away. That doesn't mean that you have to risk more money necessarily to take that play. It means typically, or the standard route to go with that would be that you are going to use a smaller position size in order to accommodate for the further stop. So what else we got? Let's look at Sol. Is anybody talking about the Sol ETF anymore? It's like that was all the rage for 2.5 days, and we're still just sideways at the highs here. So balance range playbook, bear short off the highs, bulls long off the lows, and hoping to get some volatility back in Solana once this range breaks. Do have to be cautious that if we break this basically triple top, we got 163, 162, 161. If we break that, have to be cautious that that could just be like a little monthly bounce and then reject from 193 and continue to tighten. So just, I will always continue to reiterate that when we are in balance, we cannot treat patterns, we cannot treat levels the same way that we do when we're not in balance. The market is either trending or it's balancing. And then when you're balancing and you break out of it, you either get a breakout with acceptance and then form a trend, or you get a breakout and no acceptance, and that ends up being a look above and fail. So bulls, bears always need to continue to prove stuff, and it'll be the same thing with Bitcoin. If we break 74K, it's going to be, fantastic, highest prices ever on Bitcoin. But bulls will need to continue to prove acceptance above 74K, get above, go up to 80K, come back test 74, and then work to new highs. And we say, all right, this is a true bull break and continuation, because we all know that it would not be shocking at all. Just like our recent 74K all-time high, that was a break of the 69K all-time high. Didn't see much follow through and pulled back to 49K. Is that a fake out in a scam coin or whatever? No, there's signs along the way to be looking for of a lack of acceptance. Those signs are breaking resistance and then immediately going and losing the daily uptrend. That's not acceptance. So bulls will have to continue to prove it, and that's going to be the case on Solana here, that if we get this bull break, we can't be saying that 300 is incoming. We'll have to continue to prove it, continue to crack these levels, and we'll just wait for Sol to give us some clarity. When Sol BTC breaks this tightening range, if it sees acceptance, whichever way it ends up going, up or down, then that's likely to be a sustained shift for Solana. So what else we got? I think Pendle is another one of our monthly bouncers. Yeah, so Pendle, nice monthly bounce, but still a decent amount of space for a monthly lower high. Watching the weekly uptrend, very healthy trend here at this point. AAVE continuing. Let's see if we have a wedge on AAVE. Nope. Still just weekly uptrend continuing. So new line in the sand for AAVE is 134.75. Let's look in the daily. So yeah, bears potentially going to try to go for a weekly lower high here. If they can get a daily lower high and confirm a daily downtrend, then that would be defense of these highs up at 178.73. And we got to check in on AAVE BTC, because that's testing monthly resistance, so if AAVE BTC rejects from monthly resistance, and we were talking about this last stream, then the AAVE show that we've had for several months here now will be over. And then bigger picture bulls will be looking for a monthly inverse head and shoulders to get like a yearly higher low set on this ratio chart. Yeah. So lots of room for a yearly higher low. And it would be, you can probably just view it on the quarterly, 2-month, month, whatever. It doesn't really matter. We're just looking for that perspective and clarity from these different time frames. What else we got? I think that might be the main stuff. Or let's look at Doge. I haven't looked in here yet, but I know we had big time relative strength recently, and that continues. So Doge has joined the category of alts that have their monthly bounces underway. And I'll redo the watch list sometime this weekend, because right now it's still the weekly trend change crew and weekly higher low set crew. This is outdated at the moment, but I'm going to have it to monthly bounce crew for alts and alts that don't have the monthly bounce crew or monthly bounce underway. And essentially how you'll see that work is the watch list with the monthly bouncers will be tiny. The ones that don't have it will be big, and then it just shifts like that, and then everybody gets their monthly bounce underway. Or you have the no monthly bounce crew start going to lower lows, and then the monthly bounce crew sets monthly lower highs, and then it ends up, shifting back that way. So organizing the watch list is a great way to stay on top of things, and not just stay on top of things, but shift odds in the space, because we see alts lead the way very often in the space. That's not the case now. It's Bitcoin continuing to lead the way as it has been for a while. But even with Bitcoin bigger picture leading the way, a lot of times, and we have seen that in this cycle, where alts will get their weekly bounce underway first or something like that, and they'll just start to pop, and then one by one you see the rotation go through the space. It's a beautiful thing. Whether you're trading alts or not, you got to be keeping eyes on them for all of these clues. So I'll look through here once more, but I think that's the main stuff I was looking at. SEI, definitely a bull to be watching. TAO, definitely a bull to be watching. And now it's the laggard game. Are we going to see the broad market stay strong? Are we going to see Bitcoin remain strong and allow money to rotate through to laggards? And if that's going to be the case, they'll start to pop one by one. You can use your ratio charts, your BTC ratio charts, to kind of speculate who's going to be the next one to go. So oftentimes I'll set all my alerts on the ratio charts, not the USD pairings, because you'll get those ratio charts cluing into the shift in strength or weakness ahead of the USD pairing. So this is, get yourself a ratio watch list, and you can go ahead and sort it from strongest to weakest if you're just looking for like intraday action. But really the way to go about it is you treat these charts just how you would any USD pairing and go look for a pattern. See who has an inverse head and shoulders on the weekly, similar to like how Tau did. And then you can say, okay, the ratio chart is telling us that there is a setup here to shift momentum, shift relative weakness into relative strength. And then that's the USD pairing that you want to be paying attention to, looking for it to be a laggard to all of these alts that, or not all of these alts, but the alts that do have their monthly bounces underway. So let's go back. We'll check in on Bitcoin and get some shorter time frame stuff to be looking at. I think we got a nice 15-minute 12 EMA rider. We did. It's just now been lost. That's the first sign of some 4-hour consolidation. This, I guess a little rising wedge here. Let me see. Is this the? I'm on my laptop, which is a Mac, and my desktop is a PC. So sometimes I get a little mixed up with like the command, control, and option buttons on here. But yeah, I had a little. Come on. My drawing skills are letting me down. So little rising wedge, that's a crappy drawing, but you get the picture. That's now broken bare. If bulls hold 68.5, then we'll look for a head and shoulders to try to get some 4-hour consolidation underway. If we just bog down through it, then we'll still need to see bears confirm a 15-minute downtrend to try to set up from some 4-hour consolidation. We got a little dinker support at 67.6, but really for price action, it's this 66.6. that we're watching here at this point. But you all know I don't care about the price action levels as much as many people do right now, and that's just because we're balancing. When we're balancing, we can anticipate a lack of clarity. That's when levels break without follow through. And ultimately, that's why I kind of lean on EMAs more, because that gives you a bit more of a sustained clue that something is actually shifting. So let's pop into chat, see what y'all are talking about. What's up, Paula? Nice to see you. Thank you for the welcome back. Rob, hello to here. Let's see. Rob says, Sui looks like weekly volume climax, possible top. Would definitely need more confirmation. Yeah, let's pop in and look. Let's pop in and look. So weekly, yeah, I mean, it could be, I don't know, 2 days left in the week, and we're not 5/7 of the way through the last weekly candle. So it's definitely ramping up, but bulls are pleased to see that when we do have like a little rotation coming out of Sui, that it's still strong at the highs, bigger picture. So just another EMA rider. It's a daily 12 EMA rider, higher highs, not getting a ton of follow through, but as long as you hold higher lows in your EMAs, then you're fine. Like a good example of this is the GDX chart, the gold miners chart. We've been battling this uptrend resistance line. I think I got it drawn on here. Yeah, we've been battling this for a while, and while you don't like to break resistance and come all the way back down, if you hold your higher lows, then you can continue to just grind and grind and grind. It keeps you from getting overextended. But wow, what a day here. 4% up. So we'll see. It looks like bulls are trying to get up and over. But anyways, talking about crypto, Sui bulls will take it. Just chilling off sideways at the highs. If we lose these EMAs, we'll certainly be looking for a weekly higher low. We'll want to see bulls hold weekly 12 EMA if the monthly move is to remain strong. And we'll want to see 4-hour oversold mark that weekly higher low for the strongest look. But blue sky bull at the moment. Blue sky bull at the moment. What up, Ryan? Happy to see you here, sir. And another Ryan wants to look at Mara. Yeah, let's look at the crypto miners. So it's another one of those things that we have good strength. I mean, kind of. I don't know. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on the miners, honestly. It's just it's a monthly downtrend confirmed without follow through, which tells us to look out for like a quarterly or 6-month higher low. I think I probably like the 6-month for it within this EQ. We know that we had Mara get its 6-month lower high set. We had Riot get its 6-month lower high set. And now are they looking for quick 6-month higher lows? That's what bulls hope for. But at the end of the day, we got Riot stronger than Mara, and we got Mara still looking for a monthly lower high. It's still far away, 27.30. You know, we can go another $9 before hitting that resistance. But I don't know. I like to trade stuff that's either very firmly balancing or very firmly trending. When you get these kind of innocuous moves, it's a little more difficult. But that is when you can zoom in and look for clarity on other time frames. And we got plenty of clarity on the daily. Just a daily stair step now, all the way up. Bulls closing strong here on the day. And low of today going to be key support on Monday. If that's lost, we'll look down at daily 12 EMA for a daily higher low. And as long as the daily uptrend's intact, then the weekly move remains strong. If we were to lose daily 12 EMA from here, that'd be a weekly trend change without follow through and potential quick sign of a early monthly lower high. So let's look on the daily and click through these miners a little bit more. So yeah, Riot is clearly the bull to be with at the moment. And CLSK as well in the shorter term. CLSK as well. So miners are strong, but they're looking for monthly lower highs. And the weekly uptrends will be the guide for that. And we've got, I'd say, Riot, CLSK, Mara in terms of strength on the daily. Let me make sure those top two. Yes, on the daily, CLSK and Riot are pretty similar. Pretty similar. All right, yeah, we can look at coin as well. Look at some of these stocks. So another very similar chart on the daily, monthly bounce underway, but going to be looking for a monthly lower high. bears want daily overbought to mark monthly lower highs. That's the strongest look for them. So we have coin at daily overbought. We have Riot at daily overbought. We have CLSK just hitting daily overbought, and Mara, that you can see that weakness, not quite at daily overbought yet. So we'll see if bears can show up. They got to get daily consolidation underway in the first place. They don't have any of that right now. So we'll just go one step at a time, and it's all bulls in the short term. As far as micro strategy, I think it's relatively strong compared to everybody, right? Did we get all-time highs? Ooh, I think so. No, we don't have all-time highs yet, but this is what Bitcoin wants to do. It was a very similar looking chart for a long time, and we're to new highs. So MSTR going to new highs on the monthly time frame increases the odds that Bitcoin can do the same. But we've seen this relative strength here for a while. So this was our early August big old flush down, lower high set on the 26th of August, higher low set on the 3rd of September, those weekly candles. If we look at Bitcoin, the timing is the same, but we had this round of weekly consolidation on Bitcoin that we didn't see on MSTR. And the reason that MSTR is at new highs and Bitcoin isn't is because it didn't see that consolidation. It had relative strength. And for now, it's just a daily 12 EMA rider. Let's see if hourly oversold marked this higher low yesterday on the daily. We'll get our RSI projector tool. Look at that. I'm gonna darken up this line just so folks can really let it soak in how or why we're always talking about the same stuff over and over again, because you see the same things play out over and over again. If I'm sounding like a broken record, it's because I am. The game, there's maybe like, I don't know, 10 concepts that you need to know in this game, and they repeat again and again and again and again and again. And the more you do it, the more tuned in you get with it, so that you can just say like, oh yeah, this is what we'd be looking for. This is what a really strong chart looks like. Hourly oversold marks your daily high or low. This orange line here is the hourly oversold level, and it absolutely dinged it yesterday morning, and right back up, daily high or low set quick. So that's what bulls want to see. That is an indication of a healthy bull market. So you love to see it. You love to see it. We know it's going to end at some point. And here you had it on the daily, on that gap down. Daily oversold for your monthly high or low. Same stuff over and over again. And the beauty of it is it's all just fractals. So you only need to learn the shtick on like one relational time frame, and then you can extrapolate that out to all of your different fractal natures with the time frames. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at INJ. We got that monthly bounce underway. We got our weekly falling wedge bull break. Let me get rid of these lines. Let me bring on these lines. So we were watching this weekly falling wedge for a while, got the bull break, no follow through, and clean back test of the wedge, and now weekly higher low is set. So another one of these coins that we know a monthly lower high. It's a little tougher on INJ because we're actually in a monthly downtrend, and resistance isn't too far away. 50%, not far away. I would say odds of monthly consolidation before new all-time highs is pretty solid. So whether that means we top out here and set up like a monthly inverse head and shoulders to try to get a quarterly higher low set, or if we break this level of 32.99, just call it 33. Even if we break that, I would still anticipate some monthly consolidation. We're going to need a monthly uptrend if we want to say INJ is really back on the map. But bouncing off of quarterly 12 EMA, got to break that 28 level to get a quarterly higher low set. And let's see. Had some juice yesterday. Was that maybe news? Yeah, that's some news-related pump and dump. And until we break the range of this news candle, whatever it was, nothing's really changing on INJ, and we'll just trust the daily uptrend. So low of yesterday's key support in terms of the weekly move. Let's see, Ryan coming in with the real question So it's funny that you say that. So Ryan said, has the last few weeks made you reconsider your trading career and become an arborist? And I've been talking to Dan for a good while that I think that eventually I will kind of not stop trading, but once my stack is big enough that I can just live a very comfortable life off of like it passively, whether it be through high dividend stocks or just straight up like interest or S&P 500, whatever, my stack's not there yet, but once it gets there, being an arborist is like at the top of the list of things that I'd like to do. So honestly, these few weeks have been awesome. It's been great to be off the charts. Obviously, it's very tragic early on and very sad, and there's still like a sadness that is just in the energy in the region. So that part, I'm not immune to that, but as far as like my personal life and my day to day, it's been amazing to be waking up, going out, chainsawing, helping neighbors, helping friends, having community come together. It's been great. But as far as the arborist stuff specifically, this has made me reconsider. It's kind of just making me feel like it might expedite it. Like maybe my ultimate goal of being able to, pull 150K a year just off of dividends, and then or S&P 500 or whatever, maybe that goal will come forward a little bit, because this whole thing was a big reality check and a big perspective check. And I love trading. I love this game, but it's been all encompassing in my life for 7, coming up on 8 years. And that's great. It's got me a solid leg up and got me with a really valuable skill set at this point. But I don't know that I will probably never come back to putting in as much time as I have been in the markets over the last 7 years. And that was going to be coming anyways. But I think this kind of was just the reality check and perspective check. So I've really been enjoying my day to day. I'm going to be coming back and, starting to stream, starting to do more stuff in the chat room, but definitely still at a limited capacity as long as the community still has stuff to be done. I mean, when I was in college, poor in college, me and my buddy drove from Michigan to New York to do Superstorm Sandy relief work on our own pocket. And, this is something that has interested me for a long time. So now that it's like my home, my community, I'm taking a step back and going to be helping out as long as help is needed. So that's all I've got here today. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Feels good to be back, and I will see you on the next stream. I'll be doing at least one a week from here moving on, which isn't a big shift. I was doing 2 a week, so I'll be doing at least one a week moving on from here, and you'll have to wait and see when it is. I don't know. Hope everyone is doing well, and I will see you next time.